Hello, all, and welcome to this evening's canned cocktail review. Yeah, this is the first for the channel. I don't think I've ever reviewed a canned cocktail before. Why am I doing this? Well, so I just finished my training. All my muscles ache. Parts of my body are covered with bruises, including one very massive, angry purple one in the back of my calf right now. And I'm still not sure if I passed. In 7 days, I'll know the results of this particular course I went through. I really hope I passed because, dang, if it ain't rough on the body. Irony being that I'm going to have to repeat this every year from here on out. But, yeah, I know I haven't uploaded stuff in the previous queue. Don't be surprised if you see it. But, anyways, the trainer, one of the other students in the class was complaining about their sore muscles, and the trainer said, one thing that's good for sore muscles is tonic water. And, in honor of that, we will be reviewing Kupu Spirits Gin and Tonic. Now, Kupu Spirits is a sort of distilled beverage division of Maui Brewing, which is, I think, basically the second largest craft brewer in the state. And so they also distill beverages. I've never actually seen their bottled, gin or whiskey anywhere, but I see these canned cocktails all over the place. I've never reviewed them because they're quite expensive. This single can costs like $6. So, yeah. Anyways, let's read it, shall we? Kupu Spirits Gin, blended with local island tonic water, ready to enjoy craft cocktail. Distilled and canned by Kupu Spirits in Kihei, Maui, Hawaii, USA. A dream begins not in the physical world, but in our imagination. From there it springs forth a new beginning. With great pride, Maui Brewing Company presents island-crafted Kupu Spirits. So this is 6.8 ABV, all local, including the tonic water. I'm going to be pouring it into this glass that you've probably never seen for a review before. I don't think I've used this for a review, but it's sort of my casual drinking glass, and my father bought it for me so I could have something classy to go and drink whiskey from. Irony being, I drink mostly iced tea from this because I find it has the perfect dosage size for iced tea. So yeah, let's just go and pour this out, shall we? Ooh, man. That's some strong tonic smell right there. So a clear, maybe slightly tinged, slight yellowish tinge to it, nicely carbonated. Yeah, there is this yellow tinge to it. And just slightly cloudy, just very so slightly cloudy. Very much the smell of quinine, herbs, very sharp, bright herbal smells. Blends well with the quinine. Hints of juniper. Juniper's not really forward in this one. It's kind of mixed in well with the other botanicals. All in all, it smells really, really nice. It's not an unpleasant herbal smell. Some gins can have kind of a medicinal, especially when you mix it with tonic water, can have a very medicinal smell to it. This doesn't smell medicinal at all. It smells a little bit like inside a Chinese herb shop to a certain extent. Evocative of that smell. Okay, onto the palate. Shall we? So sweet, but not cloyingly so like cheap tonic water can be. And you definitely taste the quinine up front. There's a brief burst of quinine bitterness up front. But before that, some of the botanicals kind of show up. Then, boom, quinine bitterness. It doesn't last. It recedes in the mids and into the finish, leaving a nice botanical note, a very nice and strong botanical note, but you're not getting very, very distinct botanicals there. Then honestly, I don't think you can really suss out distinct botanicals in a mixed cocktail. In retrospect, excuse me, in retrospect, probably would have been a little bit better if I had this over the rocks. Unfortunately, icing where I'm at right now, water don't taste too great, out of the tap. So, and that's more just because I think it would be a little less sharp if it was a bit more chilled. Now, as for the alcohol content, honestly, this doesn't feel like a 6.8 at all. Let's top it up with the rest of the can here. It almost has like a, what also is evocative of Chinese herb store and also of like the incense they burn inside of church. Not strongly like that, but just slightly evocative of it, which is a very pleasant smell to me. It brings back some very nice memories. I was an altar boy, and honestly, I'm kind of attached to my Catholic heritage, even if I'm non-practicing, I suppose. Mm. Yeah, ice to bring down the temperature and maybe to dilute it just a slight bit would do quite well in lessening that bitter quinine slap in the front to mids. I don't find it unpleasant, but I know a lot of people do. Gin and tonics are basically a love it or hate it sort of cocktail, I suppose. Yeah, definitely starting to feel the alcohol a little bit now. But still doesn't feel like a 6.8, that's for sure. Maybe it's going to sneak up to me in a little bit. See, I should be feeling it pretty strongly because I'm drinking this on an empty stomach. Mm. Nice. So, your mileage may vary with this in regards to. I think it really depends on how much you like gin and tonics. I think that this makes an excellent canned gin and tonic. I've certainly had worse gin and tonics mixed for me at bars, but then I've never been to one of those specialized cocktail bars. Now I just kind of go to a regular bar and order a cocktail, and you know how that kind of turns out a lot of the time. Or like a restaurant or something and order a cocktail. And it's really funny. You know, most restaurants go to like TGI Fridays or Applebee's or something, and it seems like any cocktail that's not a mix, they can't do very well. But also regular bars, I find, you know, just kind of hit or miss with things like cocktails, Tom Collins, old fashions, you know, like that. I'm not too into like super fancy stuff, and I'm definitely not into the frou-frou kind of stuff either. I like to taste my alcohol. But I digress. Kupu Spirits Gin and Tonic, bit on the pricey side, but you're definitely getting quality. Don't be like me. I think even I would prefer this on the rocks. So if you do get this, pour this on the rocks. As with all things, make sure that you are using good water to make your ice. Don't use crap water. There's nothing worse than getting a cocktail that's made with some great ingredients and it goes on crappy ice. You know what I mean? Either ice that's made with bad water or ice that's been sitting in an ice maker, you know, a dirty ice maker, an ice maker that hasn't been cleaned. If you're working in the restaurant industry, you know how rarely ice makers can be cleaned sometimes, yeah? But, yeah, definitely give this a shot, you know? Especially if you make more money than I do. So, that is your canned cocktail review for this evening, which is almost 8 o'clock. And with that, I wish you a cheers and good night.